So guys, this is my experience so far after 13.5 hours in Dying Light 2 Stay Human. It isn't a review. The review will be on probably Saturday after I've played it co-op. I haven't played it co-op. They wouldn't give me a key for co-op. It's also embargoed for co-op, which tells me that there's big problems, and I know there's big problems with co-op. Whether the day one patch will fix that, I will let you know on Saturday. I might even be able to let you know Friday night, depending on how much gameplay I get done on co-op on Friday. I'm buying another key so that I can play co-op all day Friday. So we'll see how it goes with that, and as soon as I've got the answer, I'll do a full-on review of this. Well, it'll be mainly a co-op review. Then I'm going to tell you about single player now, and you can see whether or not you think it's worth buying for yourself. So first of all, let's look at how well it ran. I didn't think the graphics were that good. There's a few options to change, you can see on your screen now, but for me the graphics just didn't look that good, and especially indoors they look pretty poor, to be honest. I was quite shocked at just how poor they were at times, but when you're on a rooftop looking out in the distance, it looks amazing. It's just, you know, sometimes it looks awful. It's the faces, the facial features of people, they look great. The lighting's nice, but at times it does look pretty poor, it has to be said. So how did it run then? Well, in 1440p with everything on and ray tracing at full, I got 20 frames a second. As you can see here, the frame counter's in the top left corner. This next one is in 1080p with all the same settings as I had before, ray tracing full, graphics to max, 35 frames a second, pretty much. Then if I drop the ray tracing down a little bit, but keep it in 1080p, it goes up to 45 frames a second. And if I take ray tracing off altogether and just have everything else running at max, I get around about 78 frames a second. This has the Nouveau. It could be that, I don't know, but it runs like an absolute dog in my opinion. I should be getting way higher frames per second on a GTX 280 i9 with 32 gig of RAM. It should be, I mean, I know some of that doesn't make any difference for this, but at the end of the day, that's poor. I've had way better performance with my graphics setup on other games with ray tracing, so not very impressed with that. And I do feel that it is their DRM software that is causing that, although I don't have any proof of that. That's just my personal opinion. So how is this game? What's it like? Well, we'll start with the story. The story's awful, the writing's terrible, the voiceovers on the whole are crap. Some are good, but most of them aren't. The lip syncing's great. The animations of the faces and that, I think, are good. The atmosphere of the world is outstanding. I get totally immersed when I'm just off on my own doing my own thing. I really feel like I'm in some kind of zombie apocalypse. It's just so damn scary and atmospheric at times. I really do enjoy just going off on my own and sod the quests, doing my bit, my thing, going where the hell I want to go. And the world allows you to do that. It's great. So yeah, full marks for that. But when you start doing the quests, the game's a very disjointed game. Typical kind of console-y game where everything seems to be put together by a 7-year-old with some sticky tape. You'll meet somebody, talk to them, and turn around and they're gone because the game's finished telling you what it wanted to tell you. You'll be in a room with somebody, you'll walk out the room and the game won't let you back in the room because clearly there's no one in there anymore. Lots and lots of disjointment such as that in the game, which really breaks immersion for me. So yeah, just the story. I've ended the story so poor that I've skipped through a lot of the dialogue after the first 5 or 6 hours. It was just so bad, and the decisions that you get to make most of the time mean nothing. It's only the big decisions like who gets the water and the electricity supply. They're the decisions that will actually change things. For example, you have a map and each area of the map is run by a different faction, and you can decide which faction that is. You take over a water tower and you get to give the water to either the PK or the settlement. You choose. It's whichever. And the thing that makes these choices is what you get off them by giving them the water. They all have different things that you'll find in the world, like car traps, pendulum traps, zip wires. The PK give you a crossbow, which is why I'm favouring them and I'm giving them everything. It's just pure personal preference. It won't, I mean, it matters for the story obviously, but the story's so bad anyway, who cares? So just choose whatever you fancy for your own enjoyment as you play in the game. Now, I talked a little bit before about it being a bit console-y in parts, and one of the biggest problems this game has, which probably a bit unfair to pin this on consoles. It's just modern games generally now, and that's the X-ray vision. This game, it oozes X-ray vision. It's what can I say that I haven't said 1,000 times before? It doesn't belong in the game, but this game is built around X-ray vision to the point where you actually need it. Because if you don't use X-ray vision in this, because it's clunky, the game, you will not know what you can and can't pick up, because there's a lot of stuff lying around that you literally can't interact with. So unless you use X-ray vision, you're going to be spamming the pickup key while running all over the place at any object that you see, because there's just objects all over the place. So you literally have to use X-ray vision or you'll get nowhere. You'll be in the game for thousands and thousands of hours just spamming the use key on just dead objects sitting around, which is annoying, because when you go in a building, you can see where all the zombies are when you're looking for loot. You look for loot to see if there's any loot you can pick up, and it just shows you every zombie in the building. It's bullshit. I mean, righto, let's have this kind of sensors for loot, but not for zombies. I don't want to know what's around the corner. Do you know what? When I was in this building, creeping around, shitting myself, and I hit the button to see where the loot was, and it showed me there was no zombies in the building. So I just stopped crouching, stood up, ran around like a prick, looting everything. It ruins games. It absolutely ruins games. It has no business being in any game. It's a wall hack for losers. That's what it is. And it should be out. And they shouldn't make games around it. That's my biggest gripe. So, yeah. Anyway, that's that. The combat of the game is garbage. That's just terrible. The combat is... Oh God, it's awful. For example, you're playing against a human comes at you, even if it's a boss, like quite a few that have like their own health bar, a big health bar at the top, and they'll come at you with this sort of big rah, and then you simply sidestep with a dodge, just space bar and strafe left or right or back step, and you'll just sort of move out the way, really slick like. They'll keep swinging and miss, and then you smack them in the face, and then they do it again, and you dodge, then you smack them in the face, and they'll do it again, you dodge and smack him in the face, and you just do that until he's dead, and that's that. The zombies pose more of a problem because you get zerged. You literally get swarmed, and if the right kind of zombie gets you, you're in deep shit. So you've got to be very, very agile on your feet. You've got to keep an eye on your stamina bar. Stamina is way more important in this game than your health. You've got to have a lot of stamina to keep that fight going. There's things around in the world that you can use, like gas canisters that you can explode and throw at them, traps that you can set off depending on which faction you're supporting. And the combat against the zombies, I love it. It really is meaty. When you're swinging your pipe or whatever the hell you got, and you're taking people's heads off and they're going flying, or just drop kicking them off the edge of a building is great. But the combat against the humans is garbage. Absolute garbage. They're brain dead. But against the zombies, it's a different ball game. So combat wise, it's garbage overall, but against the zombies, no, it's fun, it's frantic, and absolutely brutal. I think the worst thing in this game, bar the story and the characters for me, is the timer, the nighttime timer, because you've been bitten by a zombie, and unless you stay in the light, you will turn into a zombie. And that timer at the beginning of the game is about 5 minutes. It does increase as you put more and more perks into your health and that, with inhibitors that you find, but essentially it doesn't go up by much, so it's always going to be 5, 6, 7 or 8 minutes or something like that. And that means essentially as soon as nighttime comes, if you are out of the base, a timer starts in the middle at the top of your screen, and it ticks down, and when it gets to 0, you're dead and it's game over. And you can kind of buff it a little bit with mushrooms that you find in the world that'll give it an extra 30 seconds. You can carry a stack of them, and you can make your own little inhalers that add a little bit more than that. But essentially when you're out at night, you're against the clock all the time. So if you are doing a nighttime mission, by the time you get to that mission, there's maybe a minute gone, then you've got to get into the building, and then you're sneaking around the building because it's full of zombies. So you're taking down a few zombies, and then there's tons of loot to get. Man, you're going to run out of time. And so what ends up happening is, well, with me, I've pretty much run out of time every time I'm looting buildings at night, and I have to keep coming out, running back to a frickin' ultraviolet light, jump in the light and go, yeah, and then a second later it resets the timer, so you've got another 6 minutes or whatever it is, run all the way back, avoiding the howling zombies and all the other kind of zombies that come out at night, get back into the building where you were up to and start looting again, keeping an eye on your timer, and when it's about to run out, a minute left, you've got to say, right, get back out. It doesn't become a suspenseful, oh my goodness, will I get back in time? It's just the bloody annoyance timer, that's all it is. It's the timer that kind of ruins immersion in the big open world at night. It's going to be even worse in co-op. Imagine going out in co-op with your buddy or your girlfriend or whoever, and all of a sudden you don't even know where their timer is. How much time you got left on your timer? Oh, I've got to go, I've only got a minute. Oh god. So they're looking for the nearest UV light. It's just going to be shit. I mean, you'll not be able to just take your time at night going from rooftop to rooftop, just having a look around. Oh, what's that over there? Shall we go and have a look in there? You can't be doing any of that. You've got to say, right, we're going from here to there. Go, go, go. Run like f***. Get in there, get in, quick, quick, loot, loot. Or just cut corners. It's just a frantic bloody... that's... Ugh. Take it out. It's a bad decision in my opinion. But other than that, guys, it's not bad. It's better than I thought it was going to be, this game. Crashing wise, I've had one crash and I've had 3 bugs in the game. 2 got me stuck, and 1 was something that I bought that I just didn't get from one of the vendors. So other than that, I haven't had a very buggy experience, and I've played it for 13.5 hours. I would have got much further into the game, but my arm is absolutely in a mess. The hospital screwed it up big time. There's going to be problems over that. More info on that in the monthly update, which will be in a few days time. But it's been a nightmare playing any game just holding the mouse. But I've gotten enough of it done to give you an opinion of what I think the game is. I'm not scoring it now. I'm not thumbing it up and I'm not thumbing it down. That'll happen either Friday night or Saturday when I do the co-op review. I'll give the whole kind of experience a score based on that, but most of you will have the game by then, so it's up to you if you want to buy it. But bear in mind that the story's poor, a lot of the characters are poor, the voice acting's poor except for some, the animation's lip syncing, some of the graphics is great, some of it aren't. It runs like dog shit pretty much when you put ray tracing on, unless you've got a top end PC. Other games doesn't. Before all the people say, oh, and you're going to have a 3080 Ti to run race. No, you don't. No, you don't. I've got loads of games with ray tracing that run fine on a GTX 2080. So that's just a myth. That's the elitists talking out their ass, guys. Yeah, that's a myth. So it's not very well optimized at that. The combat's pretty shit against humans, fun against the zombies. The world is really, really immersive. It really looks fantastic. Just running around the world, deciding where you're going to go is a joy. I really do enjoy that more than the first one. So it's not a bad game at all overall. But you'll get me full final review on Friday or Saturday. It's all about the co-op for me. That's what I'm interested in, because that's all I'll be playing with this. I'll never touch a single player again after this. It'll be purely co-op from now on. That's how I want to play it. And I have a horrible feeling, guys, that the co-op is completely and utterly broken. They wouldn't give us a key. There's embargoes on it. I've heard horror stories about it. I would wait till I've tested it before you buy it if you're buying this for co-op, but it's entirely up to you. I'll see you later.